Hello everyone, I'm Wesley and I was just in Ohio for a few days and I brought the Leica Q3 with me to put it through some more testing and give my initial review. Let's get it. Alright guys, I took the Leica out for a quick trip to Cincinnati and Dayton for some street photography in each city. Why Ohio of all places? Well, I had no choice. It was a work trip. So I might as well bring the Q3 with me, make the best of it, and take it through some more testing so I can bring my initial review. After the comments on my last video, I wanted to further test it and see what else I could find to bring all you haters out to roast me. Seriously though, guys. Bro, you're on the wrong firmware. You're an amateur. Leicas are not meant to be used for other cameras, dude. You don't get it. You don't get the point. Seriously, guys, I love the camera and I stand behind my video. That's all there is to it. Thanks for joining me today. And while you're here, click the subscribe button and stick around. I like to ramble, but I sometimes stay on script. We shall see. Don't forget to throw that thumbs up and thumbs down. How about just drop a comment and ask a question? Seriously, guys, I got so many Leica haters on that last video, but keep it coming. It only serves to make me better. As a professional photographer, I assure you, I know how to use cameras. I assure you, I updated the firmware right away. I'm on firmware 2.0.5, and I'm using the fastest UHS 2 card. Now, I have heard some other YouTubers complain about certain SD cards having different issues, so, I will continue testing. But the fact that I've used every brand means I have a diverse knowledge base on cameras. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I don't have the most experience with Leica, but this is not my first Leica. I had a Leica Q2 a few years ago, and I get it. You love your camera, and Leica has brand loyalty like no other. But I know what I'm doing, well, for the most part. I am human. And to be honest, I appreciate your comments, so keep them coming. They only serve to make me better. The first thing that I wanted to point out that I noticed when taking the Q3 out this last time is that the startup times did vary at times. There were times it took up to 3 seconds, and sometimes it started up a little faster. I did keep the camera on most of the time due to the good battery life and used the shutter button to wake it back up, which for the most part was quick. I imagine this may have a deep sleep mode after it's been turned off for a little while. If you know, let me know. And while we're talking about some of the issues I noticed last time, the quirky autofocus for that matter. Now, I only noticed the quirky autofocus in AFC mode, especially when I was using tracking autofocus. So I stopped doing that. I started using single autofocus, and the quirks for the most part went away. I only saw the screen on the EVF glitch once or twice when in Cincy. And if you doubt me, check out Petapixel's review that just came out for the 43mm Leica Q3 that they just posted as of September 26th, my birthday, by the way. It talks about the same exact thing. Again, for a $6,000 camera, I expect more. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry. Hate me if you want in the comments, but I expect more. I guess my OCD makes me notice these things more than others. I don't know. And I get to upset you like a fanboys. It's a win-win. No, seriously. I wish I didn't have to be bothered by these issues. Trust me. I wish I could just love the camera, but you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Nonetheless, I want to focus more on this trip and using the camera in real-world setting and seeing if these quirks actually made a real difference when shooting. I can tell you from my Amsterdam trip, where I noticed many of these issues, I still got amazing shots. So I'm keeping all that in mind while I'm out there. Okay, let's get into what else I noticed while out with the Leica Q3. And we'll start with battery life. And Leica hit a home run with this 22 milliamp battery. It will last a full day for the most part while shooting. I didn't have to charge the battery actually the entire trip, the entire 3-day trip, because I was only able to use it for a couple of hours each day after work. But rest assured, if you own this camera, you should be able to get through a full day of use with just one battery. And even then, I would recommend using a power bank rather than buying a $200 battery. You can buy that power bank that I got from Anchor that provides great power delivery, 28,000 milliamps. It will charge your Leica camera over and over again, and you can top it off while you're at lunch. Okay guys, let's move on to image quality, and I can confirm that the hype is real. The images bring out more emotion when I look at them, and the DNG files edit so well. The Lightroom workflow is much easier than Fujifilm files, for example. Slightly better than Nikon files, but these files are quite large. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful, but you're going to deal with large files. Just know that. But the croppability is amazing, and being it's a single fixed lens with a single focal length, you're going to love that croppability. And we're going to move into metering next. I wanted to just point out that when I shot in aperture priority, it almost always metered too bright when I was using the matrix metering mode. I found myself setting the exposure comp down a few stops to expose better for the highlights and not lose that detail. Or just going full manual. I need to play around with this a little bit more, but if you have any suggestions on the metering modes, let me know in the comments. I just don't like the loss of highlights when I leave Leica's IQ up to the metering. Next, we're going to move on to autofocus. Again, don't roast me in the comments, or do. Anyway, let's just talk about it. Once I figured out the quirks and I learned how to use the autofocus, for me, it was smooth sailing. However, and a camera this expensive shouldn't have compromises when it comes to autofocus, period. There are cameras thousands cheaper that are much more capable. Yeah, but it's a Leica, I know. So if I buy a BMW, there's a good chance it will be much more expensive than an American car, and often have less features on it. But those features that they do have will be almost flawless. I know this from personal experience, and Leica shouldn't be any different. A premium product should be well built and should work flawlessly. The R&D on this product should be so vast that they shouldn't have these issues. I'm just saying. But let's get to the overall experience. Like I said, real world. Now, we got all the issues out of the way. I still am blown away by this camera. I love Leica's approach to the menus. They're so simple and so unintrusive. Once you set it up, you're mostly adjusting the dials from there, like the shutter, the aperture, and the ISO using this right here. And in doing so, I found myself much more in the moment, observing, composing, rather than worrying about the camera settings. Not only did it allow me to shoot more, but I gained much more confidence in the camera's ability to perform and not really get in the way. I wasn't so sure after my last trip, to be honest. So, if I were to sum up my initial review of this camera, it can be summarized to this. Despite the flaws, if you can afford it, this camera is an amazing device and one that I would recommend if it's in your budget. I still recommend the ZF from Nikon to most people, or the Z6 III if you prefer a more robust grip. And Nikon Color Science is great. I mean, it's not Leica, but it's great. While Dayton was a sleepy town, Cincinnati didn't disappoint. I recommend it if you have not been. Check out the district called Over the Rhine. Great food, Art Deco buildings. It made for a great area to explore on foot and with your camera. Also, make your way over the bridge. It's called Purple People Bridge. I don't know why. Oh, it is a pedestrian bridge. Bridge is purple. Now I get it. But check out the Kentucky side, and it faces the skyline of Cincinnati from across the Ohio River. It's amazing. And speaking of skylines, don't forget to get some skyline chili while you're there too. I wish I'd had the time to get some. The food actually was very good in Cincinnati, and I would recommend. Arnold's Bar and Grill was great, and there was a place called the Eagle we went to. It was also amazing. So if you're from Cincinnati, drop a comment and let everyone know where other good spots are to check out. I did zero research. I just wanted to walk the city and take it in. Next time, I'll be sure to scope out the spots you mentioned below. All right, guys, I'm going to keep testing and let you know what I find, good and bad. This camera is still my perfect travel companion, and I can't see many times where I'll need my Nikon unless I just want something different. All right, guys, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.